This is gonna be a new kind of video, which is gonna be a podcast, which I always wanted to do because I really love talking to people, getting to know a lot of information, and podcast was always a plan when it comes to YouTube, and I'm finally doing it. I'm finally presenting you the first podcast, that is the social media marketing agency 101, with one of my bros, Ujjwal. He's a successful entrepreneur in Sydney. He runs a social media marketing agency called Marketinc. A very career oriented guy. A lot of insights. We had private talks, and I was blown by his information and his insights. And I thought I had to bring him to the podcast and talk about it. And yeah, we made like a 101 social media agency podcast where you'll learn have regarding his journey and what we can learn as a beginner agency owners and etc. I hope you actually take notes from this, because I literally took notes while I was recording this podcast. And yeah, it was a very informative yet very bro conversation. Do follow him on Instagram. I'm gonna mention it in the description below. And also do follow Wassup that would push out more better content. And also subscribe to the channel, because we will be able to bring out better guests in the future. Thank you so much. Enjoy the podcast. Right, Ujjwal bro, welcome to the Superman podcast. Really a very excited to have you, excited for this conversation right now, because the last conversation we had privately was actually very good. It was very insightful, and I thought you should be on this podcast because the information and the insights you had were crazy. So why don't you introduce yourself, talk about brief about your journey so that we can break it down again, and then introduce about your agency and yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on the podcast. So I'm Ujjwal. I run a marketing agency. It's called Marketinc. And we work with small, medium businesses in Sydney and Australia. We help them with their Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, web development, and everything in between. We mostly work with service-based businesses. So we specialize in working with businesses that want lead generation. I started this agency when I was 18, fresh into uni. First semester, I did a few marketing internships. Realized that 9 to 5 isn't for me. I couldn't trade my time for hours, and that made me realize that I want to start an agency. We started quite small. It was just me and a graphic designer, because I started my career as a graphic designer and cinematographer. So got a small project from the company who was one of my first employers. The company who gave me the first internship also ended up becoming my first client. And they motivated me to offer them more services. So slowly I started learning about Google ads, Facebook ads, learned about SEO. And then within 1 year, I was managing all of that company's marketing. During the same time, I found another company who wanted to use my services. And that's how we started growing the agency slowly. So that's been my journey, and it's been about 5 years. We're about 15 to 18 people in our team. We've got an office in Sydney, we've got an office in Delhi, and yeah, we're just hustling.
Yeah. So basically, you started as a graphic designer, and then you worked as an intern, in an internship, and
Yeah.
the same company offered you, became your first client.
Yeah.
Now, how is that possible for a no experience agency owner out there?
I think because, as I said, I never thought about trading my time for money. And I really I was in a privileged position to not care about money as well. I was very happy I was making my first dollar. But I think for me, integrity was always bigger than money. So I used to work more hours, and so when I was working as a part-time employee, as an intern, I had to make a logbook of the hours that I'm working. More often than not, I used to mention less hours and do more work. And that showed them my integrity, that let's say if I'm doing 4.5 hours or 5 hours, I would just used to make it, let's say, 4 hours. and they never expected me to do it. I was just doing it because, let's say, if I thought that 1 hour of my, like, out of the 4 hours, 5 hours that they're paying me for, if I knew that I did not really work for those 5 hours was at 1 hour, I was not really as productive, I never used to charge them. And these small things they used to notice, and all the other businesses that I've worked with later on, they used to notice. I think that was how they pushed me themselves to learn more skills, because they wanted to use my integrity in their business more. So they asked me to learn Google ads, Facebook ads. They had an agency on board. So they asked me to reverse engineer what that agency was doing, learn everything myself in like 6 months. And then by end of that year, I was handling everything for the company.
So you started doing graphic designing or Google Ads and Facebook ads?
I started doing graphic design. Yeah, they hired me as a photographer and graphic designer. So they had like products that they wanted to take pictures of and get those edited for their website. That's what they hired me for, and those were my skill sets. Yeah, I used to do that in high school.
So, what did you do afterwards? Like, how did it continue, like, getting the other clients? Was it a referral thing, or you started like, reaching out to people, or like, what was it about?
So how it started was I I think it was during COVID. So just right when I started my agency, that was February of 2020. I registered my company in India first, then I went back to Sydney. 1 month in, I had to come back due to COVID, and that was somewhat, I'd say, like, I got lucky because when I was back in India, I was still able to work for my clients, and since I was able to make some money because I was not living in Australia, so I was able to save some more money, hire more people, and that's how we started as an agency. I think the way skill development happened for me is that they already had an agency who was doing a lot of their tasks, and they kind of pushed me to learn those skill sets and start doing them by myself. So I made a lot of mistakes. I think the way I learned was just by hit and trial. But so it took me way longer than it should have to learn those things. But at the same time, I learned more about business doing that as compared to marketing.
Yeah,
So I see myself more as a business person than a marketing agency guy.
the market.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what was the biggest challenges like when starting an agency? Like, you said you were in COVID, and then like you save up more money by staying in India. What are the biggest challenges because right now what I usually face in general is basically like reaching out to clients. I mean, not reaching out to clients, but like finding the right leads. That's the
Yeah.
difficult part, I think, for most of the people out there, which I'm also struggling right now. And yeah, because the thing is, at least for the personal branding agency, for me, it's very difficult to what do you say, do the cold emailing outreach thing, because the thing is, it's very we have tried getting all the lead finders and etc, like apollo.io, to get all the email lists and everything, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, we never knew, like, there's a very less percentage in that, like the people in that who actually make content in the first
Yeah.
place. So it's very hard for us to filter out like who's making content in that email list, because if it's one person, 99% of the emails are like on for reach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you face all these challenges in the beginning? Like, what were the challenges you faced in the beginning of your agency?
Yeah. So I think we are more of a boutique agency in that aspect. So even till now, we don't really go do any outreach. All of our leads are inbound and via referrals. We have got agency partners who do their own marketing. They run their own ads, they do their own SEO, they do their Google ads, Facebook ads, they get leads. And I think we are excellent at delivery. So they get on board with us in partnership where we do the delivery for them and they white label our services. And that way, I'm able to focus more on the business side, like doing the execution, versus trying to chase down leads. It's great.
Okay,
These
so
are great partners. Yeah.
so basically, your agency runs as a B2B more than a like a D2C. Like, you don't offer directly to the businesses out there. It's like other agencies take your services and white label that to the other people. Is that right?
Yes and no. Yes, because we do that. Like we started doing that this year. So let's say 30% of our revenue comes from that, but 70%
The
still
white
comes
list.
from, but the 70% revenue still comes from the business that I have built from my relationships. So my clients who have worked with me, they really like me. So they refer me to their friends and family. As well as if I like a business in an industry, I message the founders themselves. I just message them on LinkedIn. So I've only done that thrice, and all three times I've ended up working with those businesses. And yeah, so that's how we do it. But those are more boutique businesses, very niche businesses. I did at least a month of research, like few months of research before I even had my first call with them, like a consultation call with them, or like a discovery call with them. I was I was still in one of those meetings. I was so prepared. I had a 45-page document built for them that I've been building for the past 1 month before that meeting, and they're one of my biggest clients at this point. Yeah, they're a huge client of ours. So that's how dedicated I was. Like I would have just trust me. Like that would be hours of work lost if they didn't sign up with me. But again, I think they saw the determination that I had of getting the business. So yeah, that's why they got me.
So most of the clients are inbound for you right now, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I see like you were messaging all the founders, like all the business owners through LinkedIn, and that's also a kind of outrage in my perspective. Yeah, but how do you reach them? In what way do you reach them, and like how do you get them? Like, is there a strategy for you? Like doing all this work, like doing work for like 45 pages of work before the meeting shows a lot of what do you say dedication towards the client.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I got a question. So that's just a one-off thing. Like I haven't done that outreach in a year, to be honest. And that because this year I just realized, and that was just like I think I just messaged 3 people and all 3 of them got on board. This was quite a detailed way that I did this whole outreach campaign. It wasn't me sending them a cold LinkedIn message. I connected with them first. They were a bit active on LinkedIn. They were posting, commenting on LinkedIn. I engaged them a few times with them on comments. I didn't never sold them anything. It was only when we started talking about what each of other like what they do and what I do. That's when I told them that I'm really interested in working with you. Let me prepare. Give me some time. Let me prepare something. I can show you. That's how it happened. But at the same time, if I were to go back, I would have done that more aggressively. This year for me is just strategy, getting things in the company right, organization building. Next year is when I'll be doing the outreach that I told you about.
Okay, so I get what you're trying to do here. Basically, you are building a relationship with the business owner in the beginning, and then just getting to know them properly, engaging with them with their posts or maybe the content they're posting out there, and then you're getting into the business side of I can do this for you, and then so it's a lengthy process, but it works beautifully, right? Like after a few days.
Yeah, because I think my goal has never been to, when I've been working with them, let's say trying to do this, I've never gone there in with an expectation that I want their work. And people can see that. So again, I'm not the best person to advise on outreach or growing an agency because I haven't done that well for myself. I think if I think about my skill sets, it's just organization building, team building, and skill development. Like at this stage, I can do everything that anyone in my agency can do. And for the most part, a lot of the roles I'm able to do better than my team as well because I've been developing those skills for the past 5 years. So now let's say if I want to start a company of my own, not an agency, but let's say if I want to start a product business, I can do it without a team as well. Yeah.
Got it. So let's go back to your college days. How you manage your college and the agency you started after your first year, the freshman?
So I think I was in Sydney for 7 or 8 months, and then COVID happened. So about a year and a half of my college was online. I did get to go back for about an year of college. That was one of my best years of college. Went back, stayed in a college accommodation, like a residential college, like in the college residence, which was, yeah. Let's say like equivalent to a dorm in the States. Stayed in that, crazy experience there. Made great friends from there, and that was it. Like, I still remember when I got back from COVID to Sydney, I was making decent money, but for the first 6 months, I was so like not into work at all. Business was flatline, no new clients, only existing client. I was doing the bare minimum just to still earn money.
When you went back to Sydney?
Yeah, when I went back to Sydney. So I remember, I think I went back to Sydney in January. By February, I was spoiled. Like from February till June, I was like, I just had 2 or 3 clients at that time, and I was a 20-year-old guy, 20 to 21-year-old guy probably. So I was making decent money for a 21-year-old, to be honest. And I was paying all my bills. I didn't have to ask money from my parents, so that was good. But at this time, I was also very reckless in a way that I wasn't really working. I was working like barely doing any work, like 4 or 5 hours. I had a small team, they were doing the execution. I just had to focus on strategy. And yeah, it was just enough to make sure the clients are happy. Then August of 2022 is when one of my friend, he knew that I had, I met him in the dorm. He was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you were going out like 3 days a week. Like, I thought you had a startup and you want to build something. How are you going to do that? Then I realized that, okay, I cannot be doing this anymore. August, I signed up for WeWork. It's a co-working space, WeWork. That changed my whole trajectory of the business. Yeah. So living in a college dorm, I used to go to WeWork 5 kilometers away from my accommodation and my college as well. So we should take the light rail, that is a tram, like take the tram to the city, go to WeWork, work from there. I never went to my college library after that. I did all my assignments sitting in a WeWork. I was working from the WeWork, made great friends, made great connections there. And that's how I think this business started growing, because I met some great founders there as well who had multi-cent-figure businesses.
They end up being your clients again?
Yeah. Some of them did, yeah.
Oh,
that's another acquisition strategy, man. Get clients from WeWork, to be honest. If you know what, you have to do that. Go to WeWork. Even all of my agency partners are from WeWork. And all of these relationships are so organic because we never wanted to so none of us became friends or acquaintances, to be honest, thinking that we'll make money from each other or we'll make money together, right? It was let's say one of this guy who's a great agency partner of mine. He needed help with the website one day, and I fixed it for him without even charging him any money. I was like, I'll do it for free. He paid me for it without me asking for it, but that's how I think our relationship started building. He realized that I don't care about money. I care about relationships. And then he started referring work. We started giving commissions and yeah.
So if you want clients, build relationship, go to WeWork. I mean, a co-working space like that, you can actually find great people out there who might also turn into clients. Actually, that's a great idea. I mean, right now at the place where I'm in, I don't have any co-working spaces here. That's a disadvantage for me. Yeah, if you have someone if you are in the metropolitan cities, it's a great way to actually start working there. And
definitely, So just one more thing I'd say is go to startup incubators in your university as well, if they have any accelerators or incubators in your university. I met this guy recently. He was in the States he was in California he was in UC Berkeley, I think, or UCLA for about one semester exchange, 1 year, 6 months. I think he was there for 6 months. He did the same thing. He was going to the WeWorks there, and he got a lot of his clients from WeWork. And then he also went to this startup incubators and accelerators. He got his clients from there as well.
Oh, I think because there are really a lot of people who are doing something over there and then might need your services. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
So tell me the first basic steps to start an agency right now in 2024 or maybe 2025. If a fresher is coming to start an agency right now, what things should he take care about in the first thing? What skills should he have? What should his vision be for the next few months?
I think I'm quite pessimistic.
And especially a social media marketing agency.
I think I'm quite pessimistic whenever someone talks to me about starting a business or starting an agency or any kind of business at all. My first advice is, and the numbers for that varies from which part of the world or you are. Let's say if someone's in the US, don't even think about starting any business unless you have made your first $10,000 from any kind of job that you've done. You could be in a restaurant doing that, making that money. First, make your first 10K. If you're in college and you want to start a side hustle, once you've made your 10K, you at least know how money is made and how hard it is to make money. Once you have done that, if there's anyone who's graduated from college and wants to start a business, I tell them don't do that. First, get a job, make your first 100K from a job. Let's say if you're getting paid 50, 60K, it will take you 2 years, make your first 100K. Learn how to make 100K. Then think about investing your money and time in starting a business. Especially when you're overseas, you have a very high opportunity cost. In Australia, you could be doing jack shit and be making 6 grand a year, 6 grand a month. That's like as per the minimum wage standards, right? So let's say if you're not working for 6 months, that's $36,000 in opportunity cost that you have wasted. Okay. So same as say students, let's say if you're allowed to work 24 hours in Australia, you can work 24 hours a week at an average pay of let's say $24 an hour. So you can be making about $500 a week minimum just by doing any side hustle or any side gigs or any part-time jobs. Do that. Why start an agency? Again, another reason that someone shouldn't start an agency is because see and learn how an agency works. I'd be at least a few times bigger in size right now if I ever got a chance to work in an agency. I had to figure everything on my own, which is not most people should be doing. You work in a good agency, learn the work ethic from them, learn the client management from them, learn the acquisition, skill set, skill development, team management, etc. from them. Then you see if you want to start something of your own or not. For the most part, if you're really good at what you do, an agency would just try to make you a partner. They'd want to, let's say, have you lead a department, make you a partner, have some equity in agency, and then scale a bigger company. I know a lot of people who are making okayish money right now, just trying to start something of their own, doing hit and trial. And I know very few people who are making great money. The ones who are making great money have great work experience.
Work experience in the sense from the agency or from the thing they're doing right now? Like if you're doing something like SEO, did they do the SEO before that? Like had an experience of doing the SEO before, and then they started an agency for that.
One of my good friends, he runs a pretty good agency, a very profitable, very efficient agency. The net profit that they make from the agency is pretty good. It's a two-person agency, and they have about 15 to 20 clients, which is unheard of. That kind of efficiency is ridiculous. Two people, 15 to 20 is insane. That guy, he's a fucking guy. And you know what? He works 9 to 5. That's it. He's in the same week as me. He works just 9 to 5. At 5:30, his clock just goes off. Like he's like, fuck it, I'm done. He worked in an agency for 2 years. He learned the ins and outs of what's the bare minimum you need to do to create efficient and great results. He charges his clients modestly. He's not cheap. He's not expensive. He's in between. He knows how to do the bare minimum to get things done efficiently. He also focuses on a specific sector and a specific, let's say, type of businesses. I think that's what he learned from. Yeah, like a specific, I wouldn't say niche, but let's specific type of businesses. Okay. So let's say, so it's not just, let's say, he's not just working with, let's say, healthcare, not just doctors and, physiotherapists, physicians, etc. He's working with service-based businesses.
Got it.
All the businesses which provide service.
Like e-commerce, service-based, product-based.
Not e-commerce. Like so service-based is similar.
I'm telling the different categories.
Similar. So, and I think that's what he probably learned from his agency that he was working in. So he had 1.5 to 2 years of experience there. He understood what was wrong with bigger agencies. And now he's able to fill those gaps. And not being as pricey as the bigger agencies, not being as ignorant as the bigger agencies, at the same time being more profitable than bigger agencies.
Got it. Yeah. So at this point, so if we actually take 10K actually, I mean, say like $10K per year, like the first 10K, should we actually make that for starting an agency?
I mean, so Okay, so if you understand, you started an agency once you were able to do something successfully, which is content, right? How long have you been doing content for again? Okay, so you're not really realizing if you were in the States for, let's say, that 1 year, you'd be doing any kind of part time and you'd be making about 10K from that 1 year of work that you did. And you know why you'd be able to do that? Is because everything that you've learned yourself while making content could have also been monetized as a skill for any business. You could have been hired as, let's say, a social media marketer or a social media intern, not a marketer, social media intern for any, let's say, small business. Let's say, let's say a hair salon. Okay. And you figured all of those steps out in 1 year of building your own personal brand. Most people who want to start an agency, they don't think like that. They come with no work done towards the actual skill development. They see people trying to sell them how to start an agency courses, and then they want to start an agency. So you have 1 year of prior work experience, to be honest. You're not a fresher. You're not someone who's starting from scratch. Yeah.
Yeah. So your suggestion is basically someone starting an agency first having work experience in whatever you're offering to the people. Like if you're building landing pages out there, you first to have an experience of building landing pages since the last 1 year.
Yeah,
So
it should be
that you
one
gain the
year. So
experience and
when I
then you
say
can
10K, sorry. So when I say 10K, 10K is a monetizable figure, which is possible for someone who's in the US. So if the person goes and apply to 100 positions, so let's say, okay, you are trying to make, let's say someone is trying to become a social media marketer. If you message 100 businesses every month, that personalized messages to businesses applying for businesses who are hiring for that particular role, that is enough for you to land a role which pays you $1,000 to $2,000 a month. Now that's not an agency client. That's the client where you have to go in person, do all the work. But if you do that for 5 to 6 months, that's enough work experience for you to be able to then multiply that.
got it. So yeah. After that, what's the next step? What's the next step, would you say? Gain experience and then afterwards. Yeah.
Okay. Gain
Yeah.
at least 6 months of work experience in whatever. I can only speak for digital marketers, web developers, WordPress and Shopify web developers, graphic designers, window editors. Do 6 months of work experience. Once you've got that work experience, try to find, again, I really emphasize on trying to find a good agency. Go for people who are adding more value. Okay. Rather than trying to build multiple small agencies individually, why not find a good agency who you want to invest in? Go to the agency, be like, okay, I want to work with you. I will invest in your marketing. If you are acquiring clients via Facebook ads, I will put in my money alongside you to invest in those ads, and I want some equity in the agency. So work with them for a few months, run it as how founders do. So when people are looking for co-founders, they work with them for a few months, and then they try to find the person who's compatible with them. Then try to build a big company. I honestly am not a huge fan of the agency space at all. Like I personally think that I'm not a fan of the agency space. I think rather than trying to build individual freelancing gigs, which people call agencies, try to build companies. Try to build a company with, let's say, a agents that you're working with. Try to get yourself invested with them, get some equity in the business, and then try to scale that business. The chances of someone getting rich with that is easier as compared to, let's say, someone just running a freelancing gig, try to do an agency. Of course, they'll make the bare minimum, like they'll make what a full-time person would make. They'll have to be working a bit of less hours, but they will end up spending years of their life just being mediocre because they don't have like any, like they're just learning from their
Got it.
mistake. They're
Got
not
it.
learning from others'
What if you
mistakes.
think like getting mentored by a person like you would give us the experience, something like that?
Yeah, I think mentorship comes in a lot of different ways. Like the two guys that I consider that, who kind of mentor me. So one of them mentors me in terms of scale and growth. He makes me realize that whatever money you make is insignificant for the for yourself, for your 3 year older self. So whatever money, let's say, that you are making right now is going to be insignificant when you are 3 years older. Same how much, let's say, 3 year younger you, whatever money that you're making at this point is such a huge amount, right? Let's say if you're making $1,000 right now. 3 years back when you were a kid in middle school or high school in India, $1,000 is like mind blowing, like game changing money, right? Do you think you will even think about $1,000 3 years from now? That will probably be your weekly expense, right? So that's one mentorship that I've gotten. The other mentorship that I've gotten from a guy that I'm currently focusing on right now for next year is sales. And he's like, create the fucking content, create your personal brand, create the content. Then you don't have to chase clients, clients will chase you. So you don't need a marketing agency guy to be a mentor. Okay, for example, if I mentor you, I can only mentor you for how to build a business, how to build a team. I'm the worst person to learn client outreach, worst person to learn client, like how to get more leads, like for your for an agency. But I think I'm fucking amazing at client retention. Like people who I was working 5 years back, I'm still working with them. That's unheard of in agencies. Agencies have a very high client turnover ratio.
For the agencies,
I work
usually
so
high,
well with
but
my
having
client.
5 years of retention is great.
Sorry? Yeah. We have zero churn because the only two clever businesses that I've worked with in the past 5 years, I have stopped working with them because there was a misalignment in our vision, as well as I realized that they wanted to shift in a space where I don't have as much expertise in that. They want to get into e-commerce and they want to start selling online. I don't focus on that. So one of them was a B2B business selling home improvement products. Then they want to start selling on Shopify, selling online. That's when I was like, I referred them to a friend of mine who now run their ads. So if you want to learn how to have zero churn, that's where I can assist. So find mentors
The business
who
or
are
something.
able to assist you in specific areas of life
Got it.
or
Got
in
it.
areas
So
of
how do you say, like, how do you
work,
satisfy a
rather than
client,
trying to
like,
find one person
in
fits all. Yeah.
general in an agency? By like you have like how many clients right now?
We're a very boutique agency. We only have like 7 to 10 clients at the moment, and we try to keep our client numbers quite low. Because imagine we have a servicing team of 15 people for 10 clients, which is again ridiculously high. We have almost one person working for one client, more than that. Because I think that's how we retain clients. We undercharge and over deliver.
Like, how much should be the runway be for a agency owner right now? Like, the runway for an agency
Sorry?
to be like, if I'm not getting any clients, how long should I still try to get my clients?
I mean, that's where my first point comes in, right? You need to start agency full time, start an agency part time, work in a marketing agency.
Okay,
At the same time, do your freelancing gig,
got it.
which once has enough clients can become an agency.
Got it.
So the smarter way to do it is be at an agency, keep on learning from them, keep on contributing there. At the same time, to your side hustle, which is your freelancing. Once you think your freelancing is sustainable enough, you have a good system in place, then quit your agency job, make this full time.
Got it, got it, got it. So you have to have this as a backup, like do a part-time agency, like work in a part-time agency first, and while running your gig on the side, and then once you can actually get the clients, that's when you stop that and then focus completely on the agency. So that's a basic.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, I've done finance, so I think I really understand the concept. I really value the concept of opportunity cost.
Oh yeah.
Even as a student, if you're allowed to work, let's say 15 or 20 hours, well, I don't know what's the hourly limit and weekly limit in the States, but let's say if it's 20 hours
It's
that you can
yeah
work in a
20
week.
hours for us. Yeah.
Sorry, 20 hours?
20 hours and like $30 per hour.
Yeah. So every hour that you're not working, you're losing that. Every week you're not working, you're losing that money. And once you have that mental clock in your head, you are more efficient.
Mm.
So let's say once you're a graduate, that number becomes really big for you.
Yeah.
When you're a student, that number should always exist in your head. That let's say someone wasting 3 months on trying to run an agency and not doing any side gigs, they are losing whatever amount of money they could have made if they were doing a part-time job.
Yeah.
So it's running an agency is an expensive task, even when you don't not making any money, because you are definitely trading your time.
Yeah, so you value your time with the expenses you pay. The opportunity cost, basically. That's a basic economic
Yeah,
way to deal with it.
yeah.
So,
People don't do that. You'll be surprised. People don't do that.
yeah, so it's a smart
People
way.
don't. People not. Yeah.
If you are smart, just find, like, figure out what opportunity cost it is in the big. Explain what opportunity cost is, because most of the people have not taken economics in their, like, thing and etc. So,
Yeah. So let's say if you can legally work 20 hours, I think our podcast is more relevant to someone who's studying abroad as an international student versus someone in India. So I think I'll just keep it in that tone itself. So let's say if you're working, if you can work 20 hours a week and you can get paid about $20 an hour, that's $400 per week that you should be making if you were doing a part-time job. Most international students, I believe, should do at least 10 hours of part-time job. Even if you come from a family who's quite comfortable, I would still suggest doing at least 10 hours a week. It brings in a lot of discipline. It brings in a lot of humility as well as respect for the money. Yeah.
very true.
So let's say
Yeah.
an opportunity cost for an average student is $400 a week. Every month that student is not doing anything, is doing jack shit. That's $1,600 a month that they're losing in opportunity cost. If you do that for 3 months, that's about $5,000. If you do that for a whole year, that's about $20,000, right? To some people, $20,000 wouldn't mean a lot, but to others, it does.
Yeah.
But trust me, if someone works 20 hours a week in their field for 1 year, from my experience, they are destined to succeed in life. They're going to be better than the average person out there.
You're talking about the part time,
So
or
if you
something like a skill or something like that.
anything, if you do 20 hours a week for 54 weeks a year as a uni student, in whatever year you are in your uni, you're going to be way ahead of the curve once you graduate.
Got it.
To give you an example, when I graduated university, I had a marketing manager role that someone approached me from LinkedIn just to test out how real it is. A recruiter approached me on LinkedIn. They saw some of my LinkedIn post. I took an interview from that company, and that company gave me a early six-figure job offer right out of uni as a 21-year-old. I think I was 21 years old back then, 21, 22 years old. So I had a six-figure job role right after uni. I wasn't making that much money back then. The role was going to be paying me more, but I knew that I could do better. And then recently as well, just to test out my ego, I applied for another role, and then they had a meeting with me, and that was a pretty good six-figure offer that I again got, and that was from the experience that I had in the past 5 years. So even if, let's say, I decide to not continue agency, if I want to take a step back, have a simple life, I think my skill set is good enough right now for me to be in a comfortable position.
Got it. Got it. So, what are the basic systems and processes a guy should look like build in an agency to run it, like make it successful in the beginning from the scratch?
Yeah. I think not just the agency, just with everything. I'm very indisciplined myself. So I'm not the best person for processes as well, but I do have a pretty strict structure in the company. So I use the project management software called ClickUp. There are other softwares like Jira, Asana, Money.com, etc. I use ClickUp myself.
Okay.
What we do in ClickUp is our whole project management, all the task allocations, delegation, communication happens on ClickUp.
Got it.
So let's say if a client gives me a task to make a ad creative for the new campaign, that task is added on ClickUp, wherein how the process for that works is, let's say if a new client comes on board, let's go a bit more in detail. If you want me to do that, I can just go in detail,
Yeah.
show how an agency
You
operation.
can. You can. Yeah.
You get a new client who wants you to run an ad campaign. Okay. What's the first step? You have to do your comparative research.
Yeah.
and get your ad creative done. You go to Facebook ad library, you do the competitive research, create all of that research in a mood board, Figma file, Miro board, etc. Put that into a project management software as a task. From that research, the next step is creating that ad creative. It could be, let's say, the static ad creative. For that, you use ClickUp and either give it to your designer or like a user project management software, give it to your designer or do it yourself and share the link of the task with your client.
Okay.
So rather than sending it to the client on WhatsApp or email, use the project management software. All of them have shareable links of
Yeah.
tasks. Share it with them. You can interact and get feedback from the client on that thing
Got it.
itself. Yeah. And yeah, then it kind of builds these kind of systems, builds more professionalism in the operations as well. Anyone starting an agency want to start a system, watch tutorial on how Jira, Monday.com, or ClickUp works. I use ClickUp. I think it's the most powerful software out there, and that's how someone can get organized.
Got it.
If you want to get more in detail, more geeky and nerdy about it, just watch some productivity videos from Ali Abdal.
Yeah.
That's where I learned majority of the productivity thing.
Right. Yeah. I've been using Notion to actually building like all the systems and etc. I think if you're starting out, that's one of the best free resources you could actually like start off with, because you will be able to
100%.
build a lot of tools in that, play with a lot of tools actually. For me, it actually puts a lot of things very organized at this point, and also I'll be able to share that the project website to the client, so he can like play around with it, like upload all his links, everything in that, and like comment regarding what other changes should be done and etc. I mean, for me, at least a beginner, I think it's a very good way to start like building your structures and systems and etc.
Yeah. One of my friend, he runs his like his one of my friend, he runs a six-figure agency from Notion.
Like what kind of agency is that?
He runs a web design and development agency.
Okay.
All of it is in Notion.
Really, yeah.
He's killer at Notion. Yeah, so Notion is killer. Like I know someone who's probably going to be making $500,000 this year just running their business from Notion. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty scalable.
It is. And then when it comes to hiring, like as a agency owner, what do you see in them? Is it just the skills or something else again? Like,
The most difficult thing is hiring. I think one of my biggest skill set at this point is also hiring.
okay.
I think I've seen at least 10,000 resumes so far in the past 5 years, probably more than that. I can do a pretty decent career as a recruiter. I have fortunately, we have a great hiring team of about 2 people right now. One of them who does the job posting shortlist, and the other one who does the actual onboarding negotiations, etc. So I'll look for a lot of things. I think hiring with me is very difficult. I really look at the person when I'm hiring and not the skill set. I look at their integrity.
Yeah.
I look at their commitment. I look at their drive.
Yeah.
And you know what my worst experience has been with hiring, which is it's such a, I'd say it's such a, like I'm stereotyping it, but hiring people coming from privilege has been one of my worst experiences ever. Every time that I've hired someone in my company who comes from privilege has been the absolute worst nightmare. Very difficult to work with, very entitled. I always like to work with people who have a drive
Yeah.
to build something because they don't
True.
have the same resources that people from privilege does.
Yeah.
So they are able to work at the same work ethic and commitment that I have for my company. And that's something that I value a lot. So especially when you're hiring team, make sure that they come from even if they're coming from privilege,
They
they
have that
should
drive
not be
with
entitled.
something.
Yeah, just don't work with people who are too entitled. Like it's like I've thought myself so many times that what, it's fine. I think I'm just stereotyping people, but my experience every time has been absolute worst. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the same thing, because I feel like even if you hire like someone with very like great skill set, I don't think he's gonna sustain if he does not have a great personality, like which if he brings a great energy or the attitude towards the company, because I feel after a point there's gonna be an argument between both the people, like your ego's gonna clash at some point. I think you'll be separated, like lose him obviously. So that's what I thought. Like from my experience, I had one time like not hiring for an agency, but I was actually like looking for an editor, and this happens. Yeah.
I think when I think of hiring, let's say if you're hiring in India or any of the countries, this is I'm very close to people that I hire. I've just noticed that with hiring, it's if you're hiring someone and the money that you're paying them is insignificant to them, then they would never value the work
Yeah.
and the job as you'd expect them to.
Yeah.
Like I've had people who have left us in between during projects, broken their contract because they just don't give a shit about the company, the job, or the money that we're paying them. I'd much rather work with people who don't come from the same privilege and where the salary that I'm paying them is an actual driving factor and something which can help me. I can incentivize them by offering them higher financial compensation with time, which can meaningfully change their life and life of their family. We've got people who are sole breadwinners like sole breadwinner for their family, and we are able to meaningfully contribute in towards to development of them as well as their family. Where I find more value with hiring. Yeah.
Got it. Do you have like a funnel to it? Like how do you find those people? How do you find the right talent out there?
Very, very hard. Like when we post a job, especially in India, we get like 400 to 500
Yeah.
applicants. That's why I need an HR because with 500 applicants that I get in, I really like all of these things. You can't run an agency and do all of these things yourself. So that your HR does this.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a few rounds, then I get them to submit a form, which goes to it's like a Notion form, so it's like a ClickUp form. Goes to my ClickUp. I have parameters. If 500 people apply in the company, I only see maximum 10. That's it.
Mm. Okay.
Previously, early days, I used to review all of them, everyone by myself. But I've got SOPs in place that the HR follows.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Got it. Got it. So, what would be the mistakes you would avoided in the beginning of starting your agency? Like five mistakes. Five mistakes I think every beginner should avoid. What do
I
you
think
think
five
those
mistakes that every
mistakes are?
beginner should. That's not really a number. Like I'm telling you, the biggest mistake every beginner that you should avoid running an agency is that don't jump into it without any experience. Develop a skill set which people are willing to pay for. Don't look at people online who say that they're running an agency and making a lot of money. If their churn is really high, then they are like I think it's equivalent to scamming people. You're scamming people saying that you deliver a service, you get them to sign a 3 month contract.
Right.
3 months you
Yeah.
do jack shit. You do jack shit. You take their money because they're obliged to pay you, and then people think that agencies are bad. Agencies aren't bad. These scammers are bad.
Yeah.
So just don't scam someone. Like just don't get into an agency with the mindset of making quick money and running away. Think about how you can build long-term relationships. That's first. Second is learn the skill set as to the best of your ability. You should be the absolute fucking best in what you're trying to offer and sell to your client. Once you do that, you're gonna get a lot of clients.
Got it.
Okay. Third is do what you're doing. Create social content. Like you should not rely on Facebook ads or Google ads. I went on a coffee with this very huge marketing agency owner. He runs a 15-year marketing agency. He has 50 people in Australia, and huge agency. This guy, they spent about 25%, 20 to 25% of the revenue on marketing, Google ads, Facebook ads,
That's crazy.
because
That's a huge amount.
because they're so huge. They're so huge. They need to pay the overheads. They're so huge. I know a guy who makes more money than the founder of that company, from the founder of the 50 people marketing agency. He has a team of 6 people, but he has like 50K plus followers. Yeah. So create social content.
Yeah.
Fourth is document the journey, to be honest. Just document the whole journey with content,
Yeah.
journaling, document it. And fifth is probably look for an exit plan. An agency is a great way to learn from multiple business owners in different fields. Learn from their mistakes, learn from their mistakes, their skill sets, their drive, etc. Learn all of that. Imagine being paid to learn from amazing business people
Yeah.
to then use that knowledge to run your own business.
So, do you think agencies like if you're an agency owner, you have to plan an exit from your agency at a point?
I think really big, really good agency owners are either running media companies. So if you, when think about very big agency owners who are really making a dent, they're either running media companies because the agency is so big that it's become like a media company, or they are finding a product and then selling it.
Got it.
If someone comes to me and be like, oh, I'm a fucking good agency, like fucking good social media marketer or marketer, I'm like, why the fuck are you running an agency? If you think you're so smart, just run a fucking company.
Oh wait, company is different than an
Let's
agency.
say, yeah. So if someone think that they're a very good fucking marketer, and if you think they are like absolute best, why are you running an agency? Why not start your own brand or own company and whatever, and just starts making more money from it?
Company,
Let's say when you're running an agency. Sorry,
company in this.
anything like start selling a product.
Oh, you're
If
telling
someone,
like if you're a great marketer, don't offer that service to someone, but instead develop a product and market it so that it becomes.
yeah, exactly, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
got it, got it.
What do you think? A lot of these. Okay, take this analogy. When I say that, I do you intend to make clips from these reels, like from this podcast, or no?
Yeah, I was thinking of.
This is a good clip content. If someone thinks that they're a really good fucking agency owner or a marketer, they would be selling their own products. Now, if you think about it, that's what all the big agency owners are doing, or all the good marketers are doing. They are selling their courses, which is a digital product.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've not met a single agency owner who's a very fucking good marketer who's not selling a product. So don't think that you can become a huge agency owner or like a very big marketer, because if you are that good, you just start selling a product. It could be a course, it could be an e-commerce product, it could be some drop shipping thing, it could be starting a new, brand
Brand.
of whatever. Yeah, it could be whatever. Yeah.
But I think I always have a vision of like starting a product business in the future. But I feel like agency gives me that what do you say foundation and also the money to actually fund towards the like the service business gives me the capital required for the product business.
Yeah, that's the same that what I'm doing
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
I think so. I get and guarantee that I'm in the right path right now. So
Oh, 100%, yeah. Like, I'll be sad if 5 years from now I'm just running the
yeah,
agency. I always want to learn the
yeah,
agency. I always want to run the agency. That's why I'm trying to build a
yeah.
company of an agency, hiring people, creating processes, etc. But yeah, I'll be very sad if I'm just running an agency in 5 years. I want to run a factory, man. I want to run like a fucking factory.
Yeah.
I don't want to run an agency.
Same,
Yeah.
same, same. I have the same vision. Like 10 years down the line, like
Yeah.
uh, yeah, that's it. That was it. Like really a very insightful conversation with you, bro. I think
Oh, good,
honest
man.
and a very raw, what do you say, a perspective from an agency owner. Because right now, see, if you go on to YouTube and see like all the agency owners, they literally sell out everything. Like start an agency, this is the easiest way. They sell out some course to actually learn some agency thing, etc. But what you really have to understand is develop a skill which you could actually leverage it and like monetize it in the future, and then build a good agency and run it for a few years, and then if you become a good marketer, start a company out there like from it.
Exactly. Like, precisely, I think that's how it should be done.
Yeah, that should be your vision if you are just starting out right now. First, learn skills, get the experience, and then think about starting an agency.
Exactly.
All right, bro, Ujjwal. It was a great conversation. Thank you again for like giving your time for this.
No, thanks, man. Thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah, I think that's the end of the podcast right now, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Speak to you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
How do I stop recording this?
Hit
Okay.
the record button. Yeah, found it?
No, I'm in the mobile app right now. I don't find an option. Oh wait.
Oh, okay. Easy, easy. Yeah, easy. I'll just exit it then. See ya.
All right, all right, bro. I'll talk to you later.
Bye. Yeah, bye.